Did anyone here ever go to the San Diego Poetry Slam when it was downtown at Bozalta? Woo! Remember the host? Fat guy, drunk, atheist, anarchist. Talked a lot about fucking shit up and cocaine. Burned flags and simulated sex with a crucifix. Kinda looked like me. That guy, whose name wasn't real and who wasn't registered to vote, was a card-carrying member of the Republican Party. My fictional alter ego was both Slam Master and GOP insider, complete with ID card and access to secret emails from our closeted gay chairman, Ken Melman. During the congressional campaign of 2006, Das Party emailed me about a night of GOP meetups, where faithful adherents like me could host like-minded individuals and bond over our love of God, country, and family values. Each neighborhood was to have its own host. Sensing an opportunity for mayhem, I went to the website and entered 92101 in the zip code box to see what I could do. Nobody had signed up to host downtown. As it happened, I already had a big room booked that night for the aforementioned San Diego Poetry Slam. Even an atheist can tell when he's being called by a higher power. So I signed up, and they assigned me a web page where I posted my pic and address. Okay, that was actually my friend Ted Kay from a small cabin in Montana. The 2006 elections were about the limits of executive power. Republicans liked a really dominant ruler who disciplined bad people with extraordinary renditions and spankings at Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo. The other side was allegedly against it. Around this time, I saw the movie The Secretary. If you didn't like it, your girlfriend did. It's about spankings, too. It occurred to me that conservatives like Rush Limbaugh had really been defending the whole kinky, violent, dominant, submissive thing. Probably because they had some serious daddy issues. Maybe they craved a dominant master to show them some tough love. And I realized that as Slam Master and Chief Republican Meetup Executive, I was just the one to do it. I was pretty sure it would work. The first reply I got to the website was from Alexis. She wasn't sure she'd attend and was worried that it was in an ethnic neighborhood. It was time to test my secretary theory. I emailed back, "You're coming, Alexis. Wear a fur coat. And bring vegan snacks." I learned from the movie that arbitrary demands were sexy. It worked. She confirmed and promised to do both. I was successful with a woman. The movie predicted that. Now for a man. I got a response from Todd. He was thinking about bringing his girlfriend. I stuck to the script. Bring your girlfriend and another couple, Todd, I typed authoritatively. He replied in the affirmative and asked what else he could bring. In the interest of being gonzo, I changed scripts for a second and borrowed from my doctor. I told Todd we already had some stuff in the trunk. Specifically, 2 bags of grass, 75 pellets of Mustang, 5 sheets of high-powered bladder acid.
A salt shaker half full of cocaine.
Yeah, you know the rest. He responded with a comment about backcountry. So I know he got the reference. I could work with this guy. I didn't really have all that shit. I don't think they make Valentine anymore. I got the impression he was one of those guys who still hung out with his frat after graduation. He offered to bring some Heineken. Something about reactionary politics must kill their taste buds. I typed, beer is good, Todd, but bring Guinness, not that Dutch surrender crap. You sound like you were in a fraternity. Can you get some whippets? He said he was and could. I told him we needed 50 and some vegan snacks. This was shaping up to be a real fucking party. In case I haven't been clear, the San Diego Poetry Slam and the 2006 Republican Meetup were happening in the same room at the same time. And I wasn't telling either constituency. The slam crowd was young, and as Alexis described it, ethnic. Basic HBO deaf poetry. Race and gender identity poems, even from the white males. But despite all that, they had a pretty conservative bent. Very little cursing and lots of Jesus. They were horrified by my behavior, but reluctantly tolerant, since I ran a good gig. I was thinking the two crowds might have a lot in common. The other thing that kept the regulars happy was lots of vintage Charles Shaw. We were in an art gallery. I remember one other RSVP. Larry was a defense contractor coming to town for a convention. He said he wanted to meet some interesting people. At a Republican meetup? Anyway, I told him to bring some vegan snacks. The day of the event, I got there early and decorated the space with red, white, and blue bunting, as if it were the 4th of July. Decanted the wine and waited for the guests. It looked right. I wore a nice suit. I'd been a corporate lawyer before becoming a provocateur. My assistant always looked good. The first Republican to arrive was Alexis. I made her as soon as she parked. Fur coat, gold jewelry, frosted hair, big old Mercedes. She sees the sign-up sheet for the slam and asks about it. My assistant is quick. We're double booked tonight, she says. Getting her to stay would be tricky. James Spader, don't fail me now. You're going to love it, Alexis, I commanded. Have a seat. My assistant will bring you a glass of our best wine. Just sit right there and keep both feet on the floor. I told my assistant to keep her glass filled. Next to arrive was Larry. Cell phone holster, thick glasses, about what you'd expect from a conventioneer looking for a good time. He'd do what he was told. Over 100 of the slam crowd had already shown up and were milling around. it was starting to look suspiciously not like a Republican meetup. A component of our audience came from a housing program up the block. They were ex-street kids in transition between genders, mostly M to F. They might have spit out. And like I said, the regulars came in shades other than Gingrich Lily White. Larry didn't seem to care, as my hot younger assistant was giving him attention he couldn't get from his computer. And Alexis looked to be on her way to a well-lubricated evening. Also, she appeared unwilling to move. Todd and crew finally showed up, and they were looking to party, / had already partied quite a bit. This was good. He shows me a handful of whippets in his pocket. Not 50, but still commendable. Time to get started. In accordance with Poetry Slam Incorporated, yes, that is a real corporation, I had to read an intro before the slam began. I modified it a little for my surprise guests. Some of it went like this. So we have 5 judges in the audience who are going to score each poem on a scale of 0 to 10, considering both content and performance. To make a political analogy, a 10 would be a bomb poem. Something really important, like keeping a cross on Mount Soledad. A 5 would be of medium importance, like making healthcare affordable or providing childcare to single moms. Just okay. And a 0 would be something we totally don't care about, like a living wage, stopping the spread of AIDS, or ending the war in Iraq. A poorly thought out idea delivered horribly. And remember, give the poem the score that powerful interests tell you to give it, not the score you believe is moral, just, and especially not equitable. And please disregard your own opinions in favor of the views of the party, because Daddy, I mean the party, knows best. Thank you for your willing compliance and unquestioning belief. Now, I couldn't personally spank every member of the audience, or even all the Republicans, but I could tweak them and do it to their minds. Besides the burning flag, one of my favorite stage props was an elaborately carved wooden crucifix. As I speak, I stroke the crucifix, but not too urgently. It was a 2-hour show with intermission. And with that, the slam began. I don't remember many specifics about the performances that night. To be honest, I don't remember many specifics about the performances on most of the nights. Because 3 minutes is not just a regulation amount of time for a slam poem. It's also the perfect amount of time to duck into the bathroom behind the stage and do a little bump. The first poem was by an Asian woman about how she isn't just an Asian woman. I remember that. I make it back to the stage in time to introduce the second poem. I keep stroking. It was just like the spanking. Every time I fainted at burning a flag or stroked my messianic member, they responded as if their recoil was actually pleasuring them. Poem 2 is about a white guy. Is by a white guy about he's sorry he's not a black guy. I scan the audience. Alexis is clearly lit, but remains planted in her seat. I introduced the third poet. It's Rudy Francisco, who is a black guy. I think Todd figured out what I've been doing, maybe from the fast talking or the sniffles, or the fact that I was talking about it on stage. The next time I go to the powder room, he follows me. I'm fine with sharing as long as he's quick. He is. Next is a poem by a white guy about how he's actually an Asian woman. I glance at Todd from the stage and he seems pretty fucked up. He's doing a whippet in his seat. His jacket is covering his lap and his girlfriend's hand is under it, moving. This did turn out to be quite a fucking party. During intermission, Alexis stays in her seat, both feet on the floor. I think I saw her wink at me while I was jerking my Jesus. Larry is holding half a bottle of 2-Buck Chuck and is chatting up one of the transitional kids, who is now going by Glenda. Glenda sees me staring and raises an eyebrow. I whisper to her, "He's looking for a good time. Trust me." I see them playing footsie during the first poem after intermission. Then they disappear. I don't know what happened to Todd. It's all a blur. The audience leaves. The poets go back where they came from. Alexis is still in her seat, smiling. We are alone in the empty gallery. I didn't reflect on what happened. I was high. Maybe it was supposed to mean something. Maybe I just like fucking with people. The poets would be back. This was the best venue in town. Alexis has started to look good. I knew it was time to shut it down and lock up. But vegan that I was, I couldn't stop thinking about coming all over that fur coat. I wondered if there were any whippets left.
Ladies and gentlemen, the artist known as Cecil Hayduke.